What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys the 5 tips you need to know so that you can be the best walk-on you can possibly be once you've finally made a team. Tip number 1. This was crucial at Ohio State when I was a walk-on, and it's going to be taking all of the special teams reps you can possibly take. So at Ohio State, there was this leaderboard that they would pull up basically every single day before practice, and it would be constantly in the meeting rooms, and it would show how many reps everybody was taking on special teams. That means whether it was a starting player or a scout team player or anybody could basically take special teams reps because there were so many of them and they would go so quickly. And so a lot of the walk-on guys would actually take a lot of the special teams reps, or they would take scout special team reps, meaning like if the starters were doing punt team, there would be scout punt return team. If you were on scout team or regular player, that counts as one special team rep. And basically, especially for scout team players, nobody wanted to do the special teams reps because, number one, it wasn't in front of your main coach, so you could kind of get away with like hiding during that time and not really working as hard. Number two, practice was really tiring, so a lot of people would try to save energy on the special teams times and sort of, maximize their effort in one-on-one drills or in something else they knew that they were going to be taxed if they took too many special teams reps. And so what stood out amongst the walk-ons were there were certain people that would take a ton of special teams reps. And number one, that looked really good for them because it showed that they were one of the hardest workers there. And also number two, the best chance you have to play as a walk-on is going to be on special teams. So if you can start beating out the starting players as a scout team player, then you actually show the coaches that you have a shot at playing on special teams. Then they'll start to take you a lot more seriously and realize that you're talented. Step number 2 is going to be navigating the waters of being a scout team player. And this is in terms of special teams, this is in terms of offense, defense. So this was tough for a lot of reasons. Basically, when you're a scout team player, you have to sort of decide at what points are you going to go really hard and compete with people, and at what points are you going to hold off a little bit and give them a good look, but you're not trying to hurt anybody before a game, and you're not trying to mess up the look that they were trying to get from the opposing defense. And also, you don't really know the opponent's team's scheme that well that you can really play effectively. So you're really trying to help your starters get better and get ready for the game, especially if you're in season. If you're out of season and it's more so like summertime or camp, then in scout team you should probably be going as hard as you can and competing and trying to get off of scout team. For example, if you're an offensive scout player and you're going against the starting defense, it's probably always a good idea to try as hard as you can because number one, you're going to give them a better look if you're trying hard, and number two, you can show that you have potential and talent if you make big plays on offensive scout team. On the other hand, if you're a defensive scout player, this gets a lot harder because when you're a defensive scout player, number one, you don't want to injure anybody, and number two, you don't know when to go super hard because they're trying to formulate certain looks from the opposing team's defense, and you really have to just make sure you're in the right spot at the right time to get the quarterback the right read, and you can't be running around going crazy and trying as hard as you can when you have certain responsibilities that you're trying to learn on the fly and trying to give them the right look. They also don't always like to have you interfering with the ball, tackling people, or really making any sort of plays because it messes up what they're trying to drill on the offense. So this is really rough for defensive scout players because you don't really get a shot to show if you're any good or not a lot of the season if you're a walk-on. So this is something that's challenging. You got to be able to navigate, and I would say try as hard as you can, but also make sure you're not hurting anybody and you're doing what the coaches tell you. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's up to the coach's discretion, and you should probably listen to them no matter what. Okay, step number 3, as a walk-on, you better not miss a single lift. You better not miss a single class. You don't want to have any mistakes, no problems. You want to basically be a ghost in terms of anything that has to do with academics, anything that has to do with missing classes, anything that has to do with being sick or missing lifts or being late or missing a weigh-in or missing a hydration test. You want to be the perfect student, if you will. So one of the things that we used to have to do is you have to weigh in every day, you have to take a P test every day, and then you had your workout every day. And you want to be known as the walk-on that's always there on time, that always knows what's going on, that hits every single weigh-in right on, that doesn't miss a hydration test, that doesn't miss a class at school and has good grades, because then they're going to know that you're not a problem and you're already a walk-on, so you basically don't want to make any mistakes to make them question why you're on the team. So you want to stay out of that stuff as much as you possibly can, and you want to be the hardest worker in the weight room and show people that whether it's on the field or off the field, you're working as hard as you possibly can. You want to be known as that guy who just grinds. Step number 4 to being the best walk-on you can possibly be, I would say here, you want to be so valuable that they basically can't replace you. And the best way to do that is to know the playbook in and out and be offering to help any of the older guys or any of the younger guys or anybody that needs help with the playbook. Not only that, but offering to do extra work with them after practice. So if there's a starting player and he knows that you work really hard, and he knows you know the plays and stuff, you might want to work with you. I know one of my receiver friends on Ohio State, he knew the plays forward and backward, and he was always getting in extra work with a lot of the other receivers after practice, and he was a really good receiver, and now he has a scholarship and he's doing a really good job. So that's one way to stand out, is to make sure you're getting extra work in and make sure you know the playbook inside and out. Step number 5 to being a good walk-on. Now this is really important. I know there's different cultures and different football programs, but this is pretty much unanimous amongst everybody and all the coaches and players as well. Don't be somebody who's a complainer. Don't be negative. Don't be bringing people down. Don't walk in every day and be upset that you're there. You want to have that same excitement and same level of gratitude that you had right when you made the football team. So even if you're heading in there for fall camp, or you're in there for 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m. workouts, whatever the case is, you want to have that same level of excitement that you had on day 1 or day 2 when you heard, okay, I made the team. This is really important, because when things get really hard, people start complaining a lot and people start bringing people down, and it brings the whole energy and whole mood down. And I know the coaches can definitely tell, but it affects the players a lot. And then you also don't want to be that cancer guy that no one wants to be around. Our coaches at Ohio State would always talk about that, whether it was somebody that had gotten in trouble and skipped classes, or somebody that was just a troublemaker. They would say that, like, that's a negative energy, that's a cancer, you don't want to be around them. And it was the same thing with people who were just downers all the time or didn't give a lot of effort. So you want to avoid being that and be upbeat, ready to work. Show up like it's business, show up like it's your job, and just be glad that you're there and have gratitude, and pretty much everything else will fall in place from there. So I hope this video helped you guys. Those are the 5 tips I would say to being a good walk-on once you finally made a team. So I know a lot of you guys are working toward that goal right now. Keep at it. I want to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys want to see next, any questions about my story or anything that you guys need help with specifically pertaining to walk-on stuff, or really fitness or life in general. I'm here to help. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.